Hi, my name's Angel. I am a psychic medium from Glasgow. Welcome to my very first podcast. So, I would like to tell you a little bit about me and how I became a psychic medium and how I got the name of Angel Ann. So, let's start at the beginning of where the actual gifts come from. And when I was 3 years old, I was a sister to two younger siblings, a brother of 18 months and a sister just born. And Laura was born on the 21st of March, and sadly she passed away on the 21st of June at just 3 months. And I remember my grandmother coming to visit me. Now, my grandmother passed before my first birthday, and I remember her coming to visit me at bedtime, and she always brought the baby with her. And over time, I learned that this baby's name was Laura. And my grandmother visited me for many years with the baby and told me bedtime stories. Now, when I was about 7 or 8, I can't quite remember, I remember at dinner asking my mum and dad why my gran and Laura never came for dinner but only ever read me bedtime stories, and did she go and visit my other siblings, my brother and my sisters, and read them bedtime stories. And my mum and dad just glanced at each other at the table, and my dad nodded to my mother. And my mum says, "Sorry, Anne, they don't come for dinner because they're ghosts." And I thought, they're not ghosts. They talk to me. I get stories every night. And she began to explain that my mum's heritage, her grandparents and her mother, were seers. They could see the other world. And she explained it to me as best she could as a child. But that is where my story began. And I saw spirit many times over the years. I also remember the next time, I was about 12, when I clearly remember my great gran coming to visit me at night. And I thought it was strange because I saw her every other day. And she said to me, "Anne, tell your dad what he's looking for is in the bottom of the wardrobe, but he has to pop it on the right hand side." And I thought nothing of it, turned over and went back to sleep. So I got up and got ready the next morning, went to school, came in from school, and my dad was sitting on the sofa with a cup of tea. And I says, "Oh, Dad, very strange. Why did my gran come and visit me during the night to tell me what you're looking for at the bottom of the wardrobe?" And he says, "What time during the night?" I went, "I don't know. I was asleep and she woke me up." And he says, "Your granny died yesterday, Anne. She's passed away." I thought, what time did she pass after she came to visit me? He went, "No, she passed the morning of the night she came." So basically she had passed 12 hours and had come to tell me this important thing that my father needed to know. And it turned out that's where she hid her money. And he was in looking for her money, or maybe he wasn't looking for her money, I don't know. So that went on over the years, where I got things from people, and the spirit world would turn up. And I used to tell my friends, 15, 16, "Oh, don't go, he's going to do this, he's a wrong un," etc. So I used to get a lot of stuff for friends and family as well. But sadly, I don't get anything about my own future, although I have seen things, predictions, if you like, of things that were going to happen for the family in the future. So that's really where my gift came from. It came from my mother's side. My mum's mum used to read tea leaves and give people healing remedies when they were ill for a few pennies back in the 50s, 60s and 70s. So she used to do that, and apparently her grandmother was also a seer as well. So the family, it's been passed down through the genes, I suppose, a bit like heart disease is passed down through some genes as well. And we don't always ask for the gifts we are given. So the gifts come from my mother's side, and I will tell you little stories about that as we go on this journey of the podcast. But what I'd also like to discuss today is how I actually got my name, Angel Ann, because a girl from the East End of Glasgow, the oldest of 6 siblings, I don't think anyone could ever say I was angelic in any way, shape or form. I'm a Taurus, practical, hard-working, stubborn at times. We say it as it is, with a rising Leo, a double fixed sign, and Leos and what goes in their brain comes out their mouth, very similar to Taurus. So I've always been known as being quite a forthright young lady. And my mother says that since I was 3 years old, surprisingly, I bossed the family about. But at that young age, I sensed the grief that my family were going through. My father turned to drink, unfortunately, when he lost Laura. And my mother had a bit of a depression. Although she did look after her children, I took on the role as parent, as a sensitive and an empath, although I didn't find that out till many, many years later. So religion has always been a big interest to me, and I always went to church. In fact, I ran away to the Salvation Army when I was 3 years old because I wanted to sing to God. But my mum always insists it was for the tea and the sticky buns, but we never know. Maybe it was, I don't know, because I do have a sweet tooth, being a Taurus, ruled by Venus. But I've studied religion over the years. I went to a Church of Scotland church every Sunday, and I studied Catholicism, Buddhism, Jehovah's Witnesses, born again Christians, lots of different religions over the years. And all of them were about love and about God and all these miracles that were out there. So I was trying to find out why and about the universe, and there was just some part of me had to know. And basically what I found out was that the love of the higher power of God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, comes from your heart, and that's how you connect. But it was when I was studying Wiccan and trying to find out more about Wiccan, and I joined this lady in Glasgow's south side, and she was a witch and she had a coven, and she was teaching the basics of witchcraft and about how it connected to the earth, etc. And one of the first tasks was to open up a circle and call in the protection from the directions and give an offering up to the spirit world, to the universe. And you had to do this in your birthday suit. So you went with nothing from the material world, and you sat and you just offered love, unconditional love to the universe. Now, I was sitting in my flat in the East End. My husband was in the sitting room watching football. Directly opposite me was my mother, who could see right into, from her living room, right into the bedroom. But we had wooden slatted blinds, which I had closed. But as I was sitting, sending up love to the universe, this light got very bright. So I opened one of my eyes. I thought, good grief, the blinds are opened. If I got to shut the blinds, my mother will think I've lost my marbles. But no, the blinds were closed. So I shut my eyes again. I thought, it's your imagination, Annie, shut your eyes. And I went back into meditation, sent up this love, pure love up to the universe. And then suddenly the light, it felt like I was hit by a ball of light, like a meteor would strike the earth. It was just like boom. And this 20-foot angel was kneeling before me. As I say, 20 foot, I'm guessing. He was on his knees and his head was on the ceiling. And oh, it was mind blowing. And this angel said to me I was going to give up my corporate job, I was going to heal people with words, and that this was meant to be my chosen path. And I thought, company car, pension, private healthcare, I ain't giving that up. No way. But that's another story. But yes, this angel came, and I was connected to the universe without a doubt. I could hear my husband in the living room, but not with my ears. I could sense him. I could sense my mother across the street. I could sense everybody in the spirit world. But my God, the power of love was so overwhelming. The tears ran down my face, tears of joy for 3 days. 3 days until my husband told me, ground yourself or you're going to end up in one of those hugging jackets and in a padded cell. Because I could see people's souls. I could see the journey they were going to go on and how difficult it was going to be on this earth. And I wanted to go and hug everyone. And I'm not a hugger. I wanted to go and hug everyone and heal everyone and to let everyone know it was going to be safe and they were going to be okay. So obviously this was such a profound experience that I told everyone, absolutely everyone that I met. And it was that way when people saw me coming. I think they started to cross the road to get away from me because they were thinking, here's that mad, crazy woman talking about her angels again. But that was absolutely profound. So that was the start of the Angel Land journey. The next one I'm going to briefly tell you as well was my husband, Gordon, didn't have children. I have 2 children to a first marriage. He didn't have children and I went in to get a sterilisation reversal. But unfortunately, I'm allergic to anything with INE at the end, codeine, morphine, anything like that. So all I was given was paracetamol, and the pain when I came out was horrific, absolutely horrific. And I remember about 3 days in, I was in absolute agony, lying in bed. I couldn't even get up, and I'm not that type of person to lie in bed ill, I'm not. I get up and get on with it. My husband went to work and I was delirious. I can't even remember him getting up. But anyway, he went to work and I just prayed to God. I says, God, I can't do this. This is unbelievable, painful. You have to take me or you have to heal me. Please, 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 please help. I never pleaded so much in my wee life. And I must have drifted off. And I woke up a few minutes later. Wow. When I woke up, I don't know, but my room was filled, I kid you not, with angels singing, with angelic music playing. It was like pink, lilac, inside of a shell, coloured orbs all around me and singing so beautiful and sweet. Oh my Lord, a miracle upon miracle. It was so beautiful and so healing. Oh, the heart again just burst with love and joy, and it was immense, absolutely immense. But anyway, I got up, had a shower, and I decided I was making my husband's favourite meal. I made him mussels with a cream, garlic and white wine sauce. I made him tagliatelle from scratch. And then I made him banoffee pie. Now my husband was a big man, and we can tell by that kind of food, he liked his food, all very fatty. But I made his food, and he came in from work that night. How are you, darling? He said, I've been really worried about you all day. And I says, I'm absolutely fine. Why are you worried about me? He says, yeah, I left you in so much pain that I worried about you all day. I went, what pain? Why was I in pain? He says, because of the operation. I said, what operation? He says, your sterilisation reversal. And I went, when did I get a sterilisation reversal? So not only had the angels removed the pain, they removed the memory of the operation itself from my mind. And when I looked at my scar, I thought, oh my God. And then I remembered the smell The smell in that room was the sweetest smell of my life. And then I got the vision of all the orbs, and I recalled the singing, and I started crying. And I went, oh my God, Gordon, I've had a miracle, an absolute miracle today. I says, I remember I thought I was dreaming. I thought I had died. I thought I was in heaven. The angels were singing. There were orbs of all colours. The music was phenomenal. And the smell was something else. And that was my second miracle from the angels. And that's why this wee East End woman called Granny Annie to her grandchildren is called Angel Ann. Because I have had many visits from the angels over the years, but those two are the most profound. So because of my career advisor, I now work as a full-time medium, and I have been for the past 20 years. And I tour the UK, bringing in the truth and the proof that love, like life, can never die, and that those that you love are in the spirit world, and they want to let you know that they are safe and they are well, and they bring the messages that you need to hear. You need to hear to heal your soul while you're here on earth. So if you're interested in coming along to one of my shows, you can go onto my website, angelandmedium.com, and you can see if I'm in a venue near you. Now, I used to tour the whole of the UK before COVID, as well as Canada and America. But at the moment, I am in Scotland, but I will be spreading my wings. I will be spreading my wings. The angels want me to take the truth further afield. They want you to know that you are loved beyond measure, and that you are unique, and you deserve to be loved, and know that you are loved. So today, my friends, I hope the angels surround you with their blessings and wrap you in their wings, so at least one moment in your day you feel that peace and that joy and that love. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for listening to my first podcast, and I look forward to chatting you again. Take care. Bye-bye.